Hey everyone, David Beverett here, violencedesignlab.com. I want to use this video format to discuss a few things that are on my mind that aren't necessarily as long as a full podcast episode. By the way, thank you to the hundreds of people that have downloaded and listened to my Violence Design Lab podcast. I really appreciate you doing that and tuning in, and it's good to know I'm not shouting into the wind. For those of you who haven't checked out the podcast yet, I want to give you a little background on me. I am a theatrical violence designer. I've been doing that for live theater for about 25 years now. I'm not so much into film, although I have done a few projects, mostly utility stunts, but I've been focused on live theatrical performance. My awareness of and involvement in HEMA only goes back about 7 or 8 years, but since that time I've been doing my best to put historical techniques on stage when I can. Now, last week I put a poll on the main HEMA Facebook page asking HEMA practitioners to tell me your biggest obstacle, your challenges, the reasons we can't do historical swordsmanship on stage. Thank you, first of all, for all of your responses. The other side of the coin, the stage combat people, I know why they think we can't do historical swordsmanship. I've heard their responses for the past couple of decades. So I want to talk about one of the main concerns that I hear from both camps, and that is safety. Safety in stage combat choreography is absolutely critical. It is not optional. It's not something we can take lightly. Even a, quote, little bruise over the course of a rehearsal process or a performance run can develop into a major problem for the actor. So safety has to be in place. But the way people talk about safety in regards to historical swordsmanship often comes up in a strange way. Many fight choreographers, especially those, or including those with a body of solid work and good academic critics that I really respect, they say that one of the main reasons we can't do historical techniques on stage is because the treatises on which they're based are literally manuals on how to injure and kill people, so we cannot then recreate them with historical accuracy. Now, to me, it's a bit of a straw man argument. I mean, I know HEMA people across the USA and now around the world, and to my knowledge, none of them, even those, for example, who study Capoferro, have ever jammed a rapier through someone's eye and had it come out the back of the head. Or the Fiore people I know have never broken someone's elbow doing a dagger disarm. Does that mean that they're not being historically accurate? Well, I mean, on some level, sure. But no one's asking us to injure or kill people. No one says we're going to take these manuals and then use these to actually go out and do acts of violence. So I think that's not a useful way to talk about it. And it's silly to say we can't recreate historical techniques because we can't actually do the lethal end that the old masters were describing. It's like saying, well, I can't learn to shoot without firing at live targets because, well, that's what this gun was designed for. I mean, while technically true, that line of thinking doesn't lead us anywhere. Another aspect that I don't like about the blanket statement that says actors can't do historical techniques is, well, which techniques are you talking about? Are you saying they can't stand in Fiore's guards or do de Grazi's high and broad wards? Well, of course they can, because those are not inherently unsafe. Right. So why aren't we teaching those as opposed to some standardized vanilla system pulled off of mostly Victorian sport fencing? But I digress. Anyway, the serious discussion, of course, is how do you handle attacks, either ones that supposedly succeed and hit the opponent, or those ending in parries or voids or what have you, without endangering the fighters. Now, HEMA people have solved this their own way, right? You'll notice we wear masks and gambesons and gloves and sometimes rigid gauntlets. So, and even more shocking, the swords aren't sharp, right? So we've solved that with equipment. We solved it with rules for sparring. Even the contact that we make is still controlled, and we rely on the trained skill and self-control of the fighters. So that is how HEMA has taken the potential danger of these techniques and made it safe for the participants. Now, stage combat, of course, approaches that problem a little differently. We want to show the danger and make it look like the people that you're watching are actually in danger, but instead are not. We use several stage combat. There's a lot of stage combat principles that we use to do that. Now, first of all, regarding any fighting attack, I don't care if it's a sword strike or a boxing punch, a taekwondo kick, it's an aikido wrist lock, whatever, a bottle over the head, whatever. All of these things cannot be done safely on stage if we're being truly accurate, right? If we're really doing the stuff. I mean, but that's not the goal of stage combat, to literally recreate real violence on stage. And if you want to do that, I don't know, join the MMA or be prepared for felony charges, I guess. But the point is, our goal is to tell a story of violence that is as visually accurate and as orally accurate as possible, with none of the dangers of the real-world equivalent. Now, stage combat techniques have been around for a while, hundreds of years probably, but at least certainly in the last 100 or so, we have these techniques that have been almost standardized on how to do fist fights and knife fights and shootings and even the oddly ahistorical sword fights that you see mostly on stage. So those are working, and those represent real danger in the world. So are we saying that those solid, tested stage combat principles can't be applied to the historical attacks shown in the treatises? To me, if you're saying that, that seems like either a lack of imagination, or a poor understanding of stage combat principles, or just an unwillingness to put in the work to study the historical scholarship and then interpret it for the stage. Now, if you're a HEMA practitioner, and you likely are if you're watching this video, and you don't have a background in theater, I don't expect you to be able to know how to translate your art for the stage. That's sort of why I'm here, and one of the reasons I created the Violence Design Lab. If you're a violence designer and you can't do this, you don't know how to take these concepts and translate them for the stage, well, I'm here to help with that too. I'm on board with that. I want to get this change happening. So, to finish up this quick video, which has gone on longer than I had planned, my answer to can we stage historical swordsmanship is yes. Yes, we can, with some work. But the next question, of course, that comes up is, well, should we? And that's a question for another time. Also, before I let you go, I want to mention, just drop a little teaser here, look for the Hotspur Challenge on the main HEMA page coming up within the next, hopefully, week or so. I want to put a challenge out there to the clubs and teachers and students of historical styles to try your hand at choreographing a thing. I'll give more details later. I just wanted to give you a heads up. So for now, this is David Bareford from the violencedesignlab.com. Keep the fights on stage, and peace in your life.